And how important is it to have, obviously, not everybody can have Pep Guardiola, Luis Enrique, but senior players, even nowadays, you look at your own dressing room. Who is it in your dressing room now you think is your Pep Guardiola, is your Luis Enrique at Arsenal?
There are a few, to be fair. I think depending on that player, what is coming down, the language, if they have any relationship before, there is always a connection, and that's something I think as coaches we need to understand. Not only with players, but it can be a masseur, it can be a physio, it can be one of the chefs. It has to be somebody, and that link has to be created across the club. For that player to feel that, yeah, he can turn up and see people that he can trust and ask questions if he needs to and feel comfortable.
Obviously, you said you were 16, I think, when you first got into that senior dressing room. We're seeing 15-year-olds playing there now. We're seeing very young players in the modern game. Is that a different 15, 16-year-old to the 15, 16-year-old you were when you were first entering that dressing room?
It is, and especially here in this country, because they're not allowed to be in our dressing room.
Of course, Max isn't in.
So at that time in Spain, I was with them.
Yeah.
I was in the dressing room with them, in the showers with them, training with them, with Max, Ethan, Miles, till last year. They weren't allowed to be in our dressing room. So the rules are different, so that makes it a bit harder as well.
Do you think that's a good thing, though, that they are bled in a little bit more slowly, or do you think that those rules are the sort of things that...
I understand the reason of the rules in relation to them be part of a team. It's not helpful.
And what about these young players? Obviously, the pressure, the spotlight is so big now, maybe even bigger than when you were a player with things like social media. How does that affect the modern footballer that is younger and coming into the team?
Well, immediately your life changes.